Took a tour on that little bus yesterday, and this is sort of one of the main streets in town. The old hotels here. Brick streets, kind of rough. We had breakfast in the bakery there this morning. That's good. This Excelsior Hotel here. Fancy looking.
I think they're about 28 bed and breakfast.
This old red building is a museum. Visited there yesterday. Be a fountain of youth here, and they got a place for animals as well as people and birds to drink. Old building across the thing is now the library. Another old home, typical of those in this area.
Bed and bath.
Yeah, lots of bed and bath places here. Priss corrected me to bed and breakfast, bed and bath. I regret I can't tell the history of each of these places, but they all have a Texas landmark tag on them. And Linda Bird Johnson was born in Karnak. We just drove through it on the way to Caddo Lake, and her mother died, and she came over here to live with her aunt. And has given lots of things to this city in the years since. Now they claim this is the first Methodist church in the state of Texas. Dates back to something like, let's see, it's 1844. Just take a picture of a typical place here. Presbyterian church, and you notice that it has 2 floors. And they have identical sanctuaries above and below. It's not air conditioned, so they determine each Sunday where services will be held depending on which one is the proper temperature, summer, winter.
It's the Cumberland Presbyterian.
Yeah. This is called the House of the Four Seasons. We toured this yesterday, had a guided tour. Mainly the Four Seasons are named that because the stained glass in the Widow's Walk on top is different colors on each side, and depending on the position of the sun, it illuminates not only the upper canopy of the 3rd floor, but below, because there's a big hole all the way through the building that you can see from the ground floor all the way out the top. And it's also a means of ventilation and air conditioning the house. And of course it's one of the oldest here, and right now it's for sale, we hear, for $750,000 with
Built
some of the...
by the governor,
Yeah, who was in the governor that built the place. Sparkle Home, another one again, of course, now is a bed and breakfast place, as many of these old homes are, and they're all scenic. Their furniture is usually the original back from the 1840s. The place is maintained beautifully here, whether it's a historic place or not. It's an interesting home because of the double staircase and also the way the basement is done. Water levels here, both above ground and then the water table below ground, were much higher in the days these places were built. And this ground floor is built so that water could, when the flood came, the water would fill the ground floor. They would just open the doors and let it in. And as the waters receded, the water would run out, and they would all be living upstairs in that time. And so floods came and went, and the bottom part is built of brick and the top of wood, so the brick could withstand the ebb and flow of the floods. Double staircase is there because in these days it said that women would use one staircase and men the other, in order that men wouldn't be following the ladies up the stairway and see their ankles. And I don't see many of those houses in town, but that's the story that goes with this one. Pretty yellow house. Grounds are as usual pretty. The street right here in the middle of town.
open, I believe, to go through. Secession, he called. He was so thrilled about it.
It's called the Allie Carlson Cottage, and has the same family name living in it since 1861. Looks a little unkept, but all these are Charlie Upchurch, and we took his tour. He's a real historian about this town. And Charlie, would you tell us just a couple of minutes about the history of Jefferson?
I sure will. Jefferson was a river port city in its early years, was the way it got its fame and popularity. Really, it's the Cypress Bayou that was back then out of Red River over here. There were natural log dams all the way down Red River. The main one was down close to where it dumped into the Mississippi. By nature, and they had the water backed all up in here, and it allowed ships and boats to come and go, and they imported out here by ship from New Orleans. Back in the early 1800s, this was a large settlement started in here, and they grew cotton, and they got to needing more market for the cotton. One of the settlers by the name of William Gerhardt rode horseback all the way to New Orleans checking the river. Found they could get up here, so they started coming to get their cotton. Freight ships started coming, passenger ships started coming, and it got worldwide noted and popular because it was the furthest point inland they could come by ship. They were coming from all over the world, settling here, forming wagon trains, going west and other places and settled, so it's kind of considered one of the original pilgrim headquarters. It was all this back out here looked like an ocean. That was where the turn basin, that's where the ships would sit out. Sometimes it'd be 10 or 15 ships sitting out there. Hard to visualize really what it looked like back then. Hundreds and hundreds of ships a year coming in and out of New Orleans up here. For a long time, it was the largest inland export-import station in the South, and it was a big hub during the Civil War. There was a lot of battles fought around close due to the river traffic, and it being a large city. There was a lot of factories here. There was uniform factories, gun factories, ammunition factories. One of the largest steel foundries in the South, the largest sawmill. One time it was a large city. After Texas got their independence from Mexico and it became the Republic of Texas, Jefferson is the original capital of Texas. Then they moved it to Austin to get it more in the center of the state. It was founded in 1836 and it was named after Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States. He's the one that signed the Declaration of Independence, kind of why the name of the town has him, but he had some relatives living here, might have had a help. It's the county seat of Marion County. Our new courthouse across the street was built in 1907. We had a log courthouse over there before they tore it down and built that one, and it had the Capitol building and everything in it. And now they wish they'd have kept that log courthouse. The monument on the corner is in memory of the dead that lost their lives during the Civil War between 1861 and 1865. The man on top is Colonel Taylor, a Confederate cavalryman. That is Lady Bird Johnson's grandfather on the monument. She grew up some here, and she got a lot of relatives lives here, and she still visits up here every once in a while. And I show some more and tell some more about her on my tour. One man got accused of killing the town. I don't know if he did or not, but he got mad and he said he was going to kill it and it died, so he kind of got credit for it, whether he done it or not, and that was Jay Gould, the railroad man. He was taking people's land away from them, put his railroads on whether they wanted him to or not. And he wasn't just taking the right away, he was taking their whole place away from them. And then we had a governor took office, Governor Culberson, went against Jay Gould and took over 2 million acres of land back away from him and give it back to the people he had took it away from. Well, it made Governor Culberson a hero, but it made Jay Gould mad. Jay Gould was staying at the Excelsior House Hotel up here. He checked out of the hotel, left a note in his room. He said, "I'll kill Jefferson, Texas. Grass will grow in your streets and bats will in any building." And it wasn't long after that, the dynamited log jams out of the river and changed the channel in places and fixed it so boats couldn't get up here, and they wouldn't let Jefferson, nobody bring it back. And then he wouldn't let them bring railroads in there either, then, so they think Jay Gould had a hand in killing Jefferson. In 1878, Jefferson had 40,000 population. It was a